Well, listen, it's a hot topic. It is scorching hot, and that's Northwestern firing Pat Fitzgerald after they put him on leave for 2 weeks. No question about it. Pat Fitz is one of the, or at least was one of the most respected coaches in college football. The things he's done in Northwestern that has high academic challenges for a football team, they've had success. They've had great players, and they've had great teams, and they exist in a really tough Big Ten, and they're competitive. He played there. He's a legendary coach there, and a massive, massive harassment and hazing, we should call them allegations, have fallen on the program, and he's been released of his job, which is really sad. And it's really sad for all the hazing things as well. First and foremost, there's absolutely no room for hazing, especially when you are physically putting your hands on somebody or doing something physically to them to make them feel uncomfortable. Same with your words. In the NFL, a part of the initiation process as a rookie is you sing in front of the team a minute. It's painful. It stinks. We all had to do it. Carry some pads, pick up some footballs. You all see the videos. But to put your hands on somebody, that's a no-go, right? I've had to do those type of things, picking up helmets, singing at all levels. College football, we got carried off the field our senior year by a couple of the younger players, the tradition that we did at Temple. That's not hazing. That's just respect to the locker room and traditions. But what's going on in Northwestern is unacceptable. So I don't even know how to break into it, and I don't want to discuss it until the things come out as fact. This happened. I don't feel comfortable with it. But I do feel comfortable saying that there's a perfect person for the job. I think the perfect person for the Northwestern job is Ken Niumatalolo, the former Navy football coach who played at Hawaii, and really from 07 to 22, he was the head coach at Navy with just tons and tons of success. 11 bowl games, 3-time AAC Coach of the Year. And this is a guy that is so well respected amongst coaches and players throughout college and pro football. He's a man of faith. He's a Mormon. He played at the University of Hawaii. He has toughness and respect for the game and is probably the ideal person to take that Northwestern job. He's a director of leadership at UCLA currently under Chip Kelly's staff. He's taken kind of that quiet year, a non-coordinator role, a non-coaching role, the leadership role for UCLA football. That's the type of respect this guy has. And he is somebody who would be perfect to come into Northwestern and bring that culture back, be an outside person, give outside opinions. At Navy, it's hard to get players into school there because of academic restrictions. It's the same in Northwestern on a grander scale, because now you're not competing against the American Conference. You're competing against the Big Ten in Wisconsin, Ohio State, Penn State, etc. So I think Ken would be the perfect person for the job. And, even now the Navy fired him after the Army-Navy game last year. The head coach at Navy who got the job, he says, in quote, they asked him, this is The Athletic, they asked him if he's interested in talking to folks. Like, is he interested in calling Ken and getting ideas? And he said, quote, "I try not to bother him," Newberry said of Niumatalolo. "There are certainly times I like to pick up the phone and ask him questions. I think there's a point where I'll be able to do more of that freely, but he's busy as well. He's working at UCLA. I'll always see him as a mentor and someone I love and I look up to. I wouldn't be ready for this position if it wasn't for him," end quote. This is the head coach at Navy who Ken hired to be his defensive coordinator, and they fired Ken to make this guy the head coach. And that's what he's saying about Ken. He's just got a calming presence. He's smart. He's tough. He's a first-class, class act kind of guy. So I would keep an eye on Ken Niumatalolo for the next coach at Northwestern. Whatever happened in Northwestern, no one truly knows yet. Obviously, the Northwestern people do. Was unacceptable, and no hazing is tolerated.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff there, Jack. It's a shame, man.
Yeah, I looked into it. It's very shocking. I was just reading some of the allegations that were listed in there. But you have any other thoughts on that before we move forward to the next
No, man, it just hit me last night sitting down. I'm like, man, who would get that job? And you're like, oh, wait, who's the, again, like who's the coach kind of waiting in the wings? Like he was at Navy forever. He was at Navy. Ken was at Navy. I wrote this down. Let me look here. I want to say he was at Navy from early 90s
to 95 to 2022.
Yeah. And he left in 99 to 01 to coach at UNLV. So, I mean, this is a lifer at a historic program in Navy with discipline. And I think he'd be perfect for the job. Keep an eye on Ken. I think he gets the job.